Hello everyone, I'm Coyote Yak, and yes, before even show you the main headline in all of this, so we have seen that indie games, or particularly Asian games, when they don't hold back, well, in they push edginess. Hey, I'm more into these types of games, but I'm suck at reading games. But anyway, you see this guy say, oh, well, we're going to make this game, and people probably are going to like it and buy it, and that's true. So even looking at this one, someone gave this idea.
Jingle so much!
So yeah, you get the idea. I wonder if they are going to let that one slide on YouTube. Anyway, I'm going to try it. But what I'm showing you this, well, is because in the past a particularly company that really shit on a lot in this channel, and everyone that's subscribed to me already heard me before, and we can keep covering that, is no other than Soyny. Since they've established Japan, they used to offer at least certain types of game like this before heading headquarters into California in 2018, when this company is notorious for the ending of the franchise of Senran Kagura. They killed it. They offered an exclusivity deal and they backstabbed the developers, and the developers walked away. They fuck up with also they are not a free up guild because you don't do exclusivity deals. And PC, along with gacha games, looks like they are showing the way of how you should put the stuff that people want and is making money. I keep saying indie games and gacha games are the ones making the money. And that's bring us to this one, because when you see these types of games, at least trying to appeal in that certain crowd, but offering other stuff, because what I show is one example. Stellar Blade is one of those other examples, despite that, yeah, it's not a Sony game, but they fuck up in doing exclusivity deal. But it looks like even after that fuck up, it shows that people still had interest in this. Well, it was a left down that they pushed the nubo, and that's a killer ending move to me. Yes, that breaks the deal, if that's what I'm trying to say. But you have seen this one shared by Grounds. Stellar Blade was played more than any other Sony PC release. Great job. So, according to Shifa, Stellar Blade is the most successful PC launch than any other PlayStation IP on PC. Sales of the Stellar Blade were more than Ghost of Tsushima, God of Wars, Marvel Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Last of Us. So yes, you're seeing that one. That stated fact that hey, apparently the most successful game from Sony, which is not from them, is from a South Korean company that decided to sign an exclusivity deal, which again they fuck up there, but they put themselves as with a publisher. They did like the typical legacy media association, and is mopping the floor with them. And yes, look at Kyle here. So kind of PlayStation to censorship out who didn't need real money with Nikke Wood were passionate enough to inspire an industry in Korea. And you know why I keep saying they should kick out all the feminists, treat them as a terrorist group, because they're also trying to destroy the gaming in South Korea. So, but you're continuing on. The official return of Fin Fatales and a return to form that leaves Sony exclusivity with lessons learned. Oh, well, yes. Look at this. On June of current year, at least this is what people have been sharing. So you see this lifespan of games of with Sony that used to be exclusive, and then oh man, you see Horizon Zero Dawn, little man, in 4.8 years, almost 60,000 at all time peak. Forbidden West, even worse. The Last of Us, oh man, even way worse. Yeah. And then you see Spider-Man's remaster. And you will be surprised because I know that there are still people attached to Spider-Man, despite all the fuckers with Marvel. But because they it looks like they care for this character the most compared to the others I have seen. God of War, the the reboot, well, continuation with a Soylent Kratos, and then you see Stellar Blade making the numbers. So despite that people say, okay, I'm going to put up with the bullshit of the Nubo, they still give it a try, and there it is. There fucking it is. The stuff that Sony walked away. This is something that Sony walked away as a company that used to appeal to the Japanese market. Imagine that South Koreans suddenly decide to do the same, and they learned from Japan, and here's the result. Yeah, imagine that nobody likes most of those walking simulators or those games that they are just the fucking same, but with a different skin and some minor improvements or change of gameplay. And this is the mid headline with all of this because yeah, this is the build up and it's too long. So the novelty of PlayStation games on Steam is reportedly wearing off. So to go through this article quickly, back in 2020, Sony did what many considered to be unthinkable, when the company announced that Horizon Zero Dawn and one-time PlayStation exclusive would be making its way to PC via full-fledged release on Steam. Prior to that, PC gamers were stuck trying to stream PlayStation titles via PS Now, a service that no longer exists. Yeah, a very failed one. In the time since then, a, pla- a plethora of titles have appeared on Steam, including God of War titles, The Last of Us Part 1, Part 2, Spider-Man, and Days Gone. So yeah, we know that shit. So that say, according to the new research from Alinea's Analytics, it appears to be novelty of seeing the PlayStation logo on anything but a Sony console is very off and sales are dwindling on somehow. Hey, but people have been asking, Soyny, if you put Bloodborne on PC, we are going to buy it. Yes, people on PC that walk away from Sony will say, oh, well, if you give us Bloodborne on PC because they are so attached to Front Software IPs, if you give them Demon Souls, Bloodborne, and also, hey, people have said that they wanted Gravity Rush on PC. But they killed therapy. They hated Japan because the ones that co-opted it after that fucking shitty decisions in 2018 that was a point of no return. It's it's here. We're seeing the results. Oh man, so either people migrate to the PS5 or don't have nearly as much interest in PS titles. It's because they are insane, man. It's the fucking insane. So, in a new edition of the Inside newsletter, it's intimated that those PS exclusive titles don't nearly have the same amount of catch that they once did, because they released those games way later and people lost interest. The hype was gone, but there were some people that would likely at least try them, and yeah, until they show it that fucking PSN requirement, while also being the same repetitive slow, man. Oh well, let's continue. The audience that once decided to experience these games for the first time has largely been served. Rios Elliott writes, noting that data shows smaller audiences. For example, the original God of War managed to sell 2.5 million copies in 427 days on Steam. And well, that's the other side of this. It's true, I almost forgot. They did more money on PC. They did a lot of money on PC because those were actual sales. Remember that the God of War continuation in the Nordic era back in 2018 The game also came bundled to a PS4, along with Ghost of Tsushima, along with Horizon Zero Dawn. And Sony loves to count those as a sale, because despite that, yeah, you're forcing the sale on the console. On Steam is the other case, is because people actually had that interest in your game. And I'm not going to deny that people had interest in this to buy the console, but you're not seeing that anymore. PS5 doesn't have console games, and it's not going to have a console in the future, or it's going to cease to exist. But continue on. The same can be said for Ragnarok, which looks to have sold around 1 million copies. Only 13% of those who bought the first game migrated to Ragnarok per Alinea. Elsewhere, Marvel Spider-Man's totaled 1.4 million copies in 294 days, but Spider-Man does it around somewhere at the three quarters of a million mark. Yeah, they fuck up there. Yeah, hey, they proved that Marvel Spider-Man 2 did way worse. And yes, that was because people weren't liking that they humiliated Peter Parker. They humiliated Spider-Man. But well, to continue on, the one exception would be Helldivers 2, which was a massive boom on PC, helping to make the live service title a bona fide hit. Well, Helldivers, I have the first Helldivers, this isometric type of game, and then they went like full tier person shooter with gameplay mechanics like this was from Metal Gear, at least Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain. But they exploded because it had something that was appealing to that crowd that said, hey, yeah, let's bring democracy to other planets. the the conqueror mindset. Yes, there is an appeal for that in those games. Doesn't matter the fucking country. Almost everyone is into that. And they fuck up a lot of stupid decisions with the balancing of the game, censorship, the furries destroying the Discord community. That forum is a fucking shit show, and wow, forcing PSN requirement in countries that PSN doesn't have a presence. And if you try to use a VPN, you're going to get flagged and get banned. They had a good one here. It was not from them. There was not from their main house studios too, and they managed to force this one to get it fucked up. Still, it's not likely it hasn't benefited massively from financial perspective from its PC endeavors. In all, Alinea estimates that Sony has created gross revenues of over 1.5 billion and counting, managing to take home roughly 1.2 billion of that after accounting for the Steam's cut. Even those early numbers for Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2 managed to turn revenue of 45 million and 32 million respectively. Ah man, it doesn't even, it's not even amount of money managed to report to that as a revenue because they lost it on Concord. Ah, yes, that's true. All that revenue, they lost it on Concord. I almost forgot, man. In other words, the cash is still there, even if the others might not be necessarily be. Yeah, if they release their games at launch, probably they could have more sales on PC. Even from that crowd, they still want to give the benefit of the doubt. Which at this point, I have said it that they should not. Sony doesn't deserve money, but there is that. And look again that it was not even from Sony. People had interest in Stellar Blade because they saw something that well they advertised it first with Xbox and PC until she thought fuck it up. But after a wait on PC, people bought it and outperformed all of the crap that Sony has been pulling out coming from the West. Their westernized Slav is underperformed to the Asian style. And hey, going back to what I showed you first, Soyny is going to be so fucking desperate, and they really want to suck at Japan again. They really want to appeal to them, suck their dicks. They have to allow these types of games in their platform if they really want to have a next console surviving. But you know they are not going to do it.
Holy!
Yes, if only they know. If only they knew. No, they know. They knew. No, they know. They know that this is what makes money too. And if they want to actually get that money back, they should go full hentai platform, full DL side. But I know they are not. They don't have the balls to do that. They got off those a long time ago. That's it. Thanks for watching and please take care.